Hey, what's up you guys? Jared here with another breakdown of the Master Rhulk Challenge. The Vow of Disciple weapons are some of the best in the game. All of the weapons drop from the boss encounter, so you can farm it until you collect them all. But you might be wondering, why would I want Adept weapons when they are all craftable? And that is because of Adept Mods. For PvE, you can apply the S tier mod Adept Big Ones, which deals extra damage against powerful combatants, bosses, and vehicles. It is essentially major spec and boss spec combined. Now for PvP, there are many great Adept mods that can be utilized, like Adept Targeting, Adept Stability, Adept Icarus Grip, Adept Charge Time, Adept Counterbalance, and my clan's favorite, Adept Range. Now I'm going to rank the weapons in order of my personal favorites. Number 1 is Deliverance Adept. This fusion rifle is God tier for PvE and PvP and never leaves my character. In fact, I have 2 crafted D-Livs and 1 Adept version. My favorite PvE role is this bad boy here with Chill Clip, Demolitionist, and Adept Big Ones. This thing is so good for DPS and taking out champions. It also synergizes extremely well with stasis builds. I use this gun on my day 1 Root of Nightmares clear. My favorite PvP role is Perpetual Motion and Successful Warm-Up. This thing is a monster in the Crucible, and my go-to when I'm rocking a primary in my elemental slot. I will be trying to farm an Adept version of this role this coming week, so I can throw Adept Range on it. My number 2 weapon on this list is Forbearance Adept. Strictly for PvE, the role you should be aiming for is Ambitious Assassin and Chain Reaction. This thing is one of the best ad clear weapons in the game, and I also use this weapon throughout Root of Nightmares Day 1. Third on my list is Cataclysmic Adept. This is one of the best DPS linears in the game, with 4th times the charm, bait and switch, and Adept Big Ones. Next up, I would probably pick Insidious Adept. There are many great roles for PvE and PvP, and adding Adept mods to it makes it even more powerful. Lubre's Ruin and Submission are going to come in with a tie for last, but both are still incredible weapons. Now let's get into the guide. This is by far the easiest encounter to complete on Master Challenge mode, and once you get the cycles down, it will be a breeze to farm. For the initial phase, you are going to need 2 teams. One team is going to include 2 passers and 2 dunkers. The other team will consist of 2 people on ad clear duty and calling out pillars that need to be dunked on. Passer 1 will start the encounter by shooting the floating crystal above Rhulk. Doing so will give you the Leeching Force debuff. As a passer, it is critical to avoid Rhulk's spiral beam attacks. You will begin your first pass by standing on the glowing plate in mid. When you step on the plate, 2 or more crystals will appear near Rhulk on the right and left. To avoid confusion, have the dunkers always shoot the right crystals and the passers always shoot the left crystals. Once passer 1 steps on the plate, he must remain on the plate while dunker 1 shoots the right crystal and passer 2 shoots the left crystal. After both crystals are shot, passer 1 will no longer have leeching because he passed it to dunker 1 and passer 2. Passer 2 will now step on the middle plate and pass leeching force to dunker 2 and back to passer 1. After this, dunker 1 and dunker 2 should both have leeching force, and it is time to turn that into emanating force. To do so, you must jump inside Rhulk's beam attack while Leeching Force is still active. You will now have Emanating Force and be ready to dunk. Wait for the 2 pillars that will be called out by the ad clear team and coordinate dunking so you dunk 1 in each. Right when the dunkers are about to dunk, passer 1 should step on the middle plate to prepare and pass. After the first dunk, dunker 1 should shoot the right crystal and passer 2 should shoot the left crystal. Immediately after, passer 2 will step on the plate and pass to dunker 2 and passer 2. Both dunkers should have leeching force again, and you grab emanating the next chance you get. Ask for the pillar callouts, dunk, and repeat. You will need to dunk a total of 6 times to move on to the next phase, so 3 dunks each. Keep in mind, if you mess up the rotation, you will likely fail the challenge and need to wipe. Now let's talk about the ad clear team. There will be 2 champions, an overload on the right and an unstoppable on the left. Take out the champions as soon as possible. Everybody can help with this. Once the champions are dead, 2 sets of symbols will spawn, 3 on the right and 3 on the left. Only people with leeching or emanating force can see the symbols on the left, and only people that have no debuffs can see the symbols on the right. It helps to have dedicated symbol guys for each side to avoid confusion. have one person call out the symbols on one side, and the other symbol guy will call out the one symbol that he has in common. That is going to be the symbol used for the dunkers. Now one of the guys from the Ad Clear team needs to look at the pillars in the middle and call out 2 of the 6 pillars that have the common symbol. The pillars are numbered close to far, so L1, L2, L3, and R1, R2, R3. After 6 dunks are achieved, we will move on to the next phase. Some tips for this part include, the first passer should wait a bit before his first pass. This will give the team time to deal with champions and get the common symbol figured out. After the first pass, there is no need to wait again. If you are passing leeching in mid and the boss shoots his beam down the middle, avoid the beam at all costs and wait to pass leeching after. Invis hunters work great for dunkers because you will be dunking near ads in most cases. For the next phase, you will make your way up these stairs to the final stage. Here you will need 1 dunker and 1 symbol reader. After Rhulk's dash attack, his glaive will be floating vertically. The dunker will shoot it until it disappears. This will give you leeching force. And just like the prior phase, you will need to get emanating force by jumping in Rhulk's beam attack. The dunker now needs a callout to dunk. When the dunker initially shoots the glaive, it helps to remind the symbol reader to check symbol. There should be a symbol near where the glaive was when you shot it. The symbol reader calls out the corner of the boss stage that has the same symbol. The corners are numbered as if you are standing at the top of the staircase facing the boss. L1 and R1 are close, L2 and R2 are far. Now that the dunker has emanating force and a callout, he will go dunk in that corner. After you dunk, a glowing crit spot will appear on Rhulk. The 5 other team members will focus on shooting that crit until it disappears. Meanwhile, the dunker will shoot the next glaive to then rinse and repeat. After you dunk 4 times, the damage phase begins. Some tips for this phase include, stock up on ammo before going up the stairs. The next phase doesn't start until somebody goes up the staircase. While the dunker is shooting the glaive, if Rhulk does another dash attack, a new glaive will appear. Shoot the new glaive instead, because sometimes when you shoot the old glaive, no symbol will appear or your reader won't see it. The dunker can also help by calling out, prepare to shoot crit as he is dunking, so the rest of the team can get in position. Sometimes another fire team member will shoot the glaive on accident, help identify who it is, and remind them to get emanating force. Then tell them which corner to bank at. Now we have the damage phase. Rhulk is constantly moving, so Divinity is a must-have for this boss fight. A well might be helpful, although sometimes Rhulk will stand right in the middle of the well and start punting people. Everybody else should have damage supers. Mobius Quiver, Blade Barrage, Gathering Storm, Needle Storm, Nova Bomb, and Thunder Crash all work great. For weapons, we used linears before the nerf, but right now, rockets and fusions will likely do better. If that is the case, you probably shouldn't use well because you might blow yourself up with rockets. Whatever the DPS meta is at the time should work well with Divinity. Our squad was able to consistently get an easy 2 phase, but you may want to hold out for a 3 phase if you don't have enough ammo to make it through the 2nd phase and the final stand. When the final stand begins, it is critical to avoid Rhulk's beams. Each time a person gets hit by a beam, it adds Pervading Darkness to the entire fire team. If Pervading Darkness gets to 10, everybody dies. Some tips for the damage phase. Right when it begins, save your DPS supers until shortly after Rhulk performs a dash attack. This will help prevent you from missing your DPS supers. Also, if you are trying to get a 2 phase, it helps to save at least 2 DPS supers for the final stand. And again, at the beginning of the final stand, Rhulk will do his dash attack, so save your DPS supers for shortly after so you do not miss. And that wraps up the Master Rhulk Challenge Guide. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and good luck getting a God roll. Happy farming, Guardians.